We're joined today by Beatrice Le Moing, Knowledge Management Program Manager at Schneider Electric. Beatrice is going to talk to us today about how to make lessons learned CAM program create real value for a company. Why do most lesson learned initiatives struggle to store knowledge in an easily accessible way?
That's a very good question. What happened? It's quite easy to store knowledge, and everybody knows to store knowledge. It's another story to make the knowledge accessible and reusable, and that's what we experiment. For example, I give you an example. In our project, the project managers wrote some lesson learned, and we make other project managers to read the lesson learned so that they could reuse them. And it was impossible to understand what the first project manager said. So it just illustrates that even if we want to do things right, it's not that easy. And that's why in our project, we assign some key roles, and one of the key roles for the lesson learned is what we call the lesson learned animator, and his role is to make the lesson learned more reusable. So the project manager writes a lesson learned or tells a story to the lesson learned animator, and then the lesson learned animator takes time to make sure that the lesson learned will be understandable. He may write it a little bit differently. It also may ask some peers to read again what was written. And so we think that it's good to spend time to make the lesson learned reusable. And as your second question is make it accessible. And for that, we think that we have to use technology to make things accessible, and we rely on our search engines. But I want you to focus on the fact that making a lesson learned reusable is not that easy. Mm-hmm. And we have to spend some energy. We find the solution of the lesson learned animator. Maybe we can find other solutions, but we have to spend some energy to transform a story into some content that can be reused. And it is very difficult also because when you write a lesson learned, you don't know who will use it. Mm-hmm. So the context will be different. And you can tell a story very differently depending on the context. And so that's why it is difficult. And most of our previous experience also had this issue on making the lesson learned reusable.
When Schneider Electric deployed its lesson learned program, it identified and appointed people to key roles before rolling it out. Any tools or processes. What were the reasons for that?
To be exact, we started working on the process and the associated key role before the IT tool. And the reason for that is that it cannot work if you start by the IT tool. And everybody wants to start with the tool. We love tools. I think we love playing, and when you're the tool, you want to know how to play with it. And in fact, in our experience, what happened is that the team came to the KM office and tell us, we want a tool. So they wanted to start by the tool. And we said, okay, you want a tool, we'll tell you what is existing in the company, outside the company. You can run a pilot if you want. And that's what happened. The team made a pilot with a tool, and it was a disaster. So, and we could have been very, very disappointed, and I think it was very good news, because what happened is that after this pilot, I say it was a disaster because we ran the pilot with two teams, and the first team just rejected the tool and said, another tool, there are some bugs in your tool, it's a waste of time for me, I don't want to do lesson learn. The second team said, yes, your tool is not that bad, but it's just very similar to the one I had before. So the project team was very disappointed because they spent some time on the specification, working on the user guide and so on, and they gave it to these two teams, and the result was not very exciting. But what was very good output is that they did not decide to stop the lesson learned project. They just decide to change the project. So they say, these people are not ready for a tool. They did not understand what lesson learned means. We have to change the culture, we have to change the behavior, and then they will adopt the tool. So the output of the pilot was very, very interesting because the project team, they changed the project. It was an IT project and it became a change management project. And if I had told them at the beginning when they come to me and say, I want to do that, I told them, no, don't start by the tool. Maybe they will say, yes, okay, but they would not have experienced this. And now they are the best ambassador of lesson learned behavior than I can be, because they really experienced, the bad experience with the tool for them, it's a good lesson learned for them. And now they are very, I would say, yes, they can say, start by the behavior, and it's better that it's people in the business saying, we will start by the behavior, than just the knowledge management team saying, yes, you know, knowledge management is behavior first and then tools. Yeah. So this pilot was not a disaster, in fact. It was a great opportunity to realize that knowledge management is a question of behavior and change management rather than a question of tools.
Yeah. What challenges are involved in connecting the lessons learned program directly to business goals?
This is absolutely key that it is connected with the business world. You are right. And in our project, we had this big chance that the sponsors of the project, the business sponsor, were fully convinced that knowledge management will make their business goal improve. And so on that part, it was really our strong point, and we supported this project because it had this chance to be successful because our business sponsor had this in mind, and really they trusted in knowledge management. They were convinced on that, and we had their full support, and we involved them in some key meetings to convince the people. But I would say if this is the first condition for success, like in every change management, in every change management project, the first thing is where is the sponsor, what are the business goals that we are going to prove. So it's absolutely key, and I would recommend, if you don't have a good business sponsor, just don't start, you will lose your time. Even if you're convinced yourself as a KM leader that it is the things to do, if the sponsorship is not here, just don't waste your time.
It can be difficult to create a culture where lessons learned are viewed as important. How has Schneider Electric been able to get employees to buy into that change?
Yes, when you say lesson learned to people, they are not getting very excited. Let's go to a lesson learned meeting. So the word lesson learned is not that exciting. And as you said, it is a change of culture. So what we did is that we focused our energy in not in the lesson learned part, but in the reuse part of the cycle of knowledge. You know, there is a cycle of knowledge with famous 7 steps, and in the cycle of knowledge, You have the part where you store the lesson learned, and you have the part where you reuse the lesson learned. And reusing experience, when you talk to people about reusing experience, they can see the immediate benefit for them of reusing experience. So I don't like to talk too much about lesson learned. It's a little bit negative and it comes at the end of something. Reuse experience, it's at the beginning of something, and you can see the benefits quite shortly. In a project, for instance, you ask people at the beginning of the project, look for other experience that you can implement in your project. So you will tell me if when you met one expert or one other project manager, you meet them, you interview them, and then maybe you will find with your discussion some elements from their own experience that you can immediately implement in your project. So this can be understandable by a lot of people, and we bet that they will save time after if they take this time at the beginning. So we in phases on this phase, take time to reuse others' experience, and you will save time after. And people say, yes, I can try. So maybe it's better than telling them, write a report at the end of the project. Because when they write a report at the end of the project, it's not for them. It's for some future potential users they don't know. When they work for them, they are very motivated. So that's why we focus our energy on that step. Reuse experience, reuse knowledge. Before than talking too much about storing, capturing this knowledge.
How did Schneider Electric use community of practice to help stakeholders see immediate value from the lessons learned initiative?
What we did, to explain roughly our project, we had a very small team, one project manager at the core level for this lesson learned project. And we had all these project managers, 4,000 of them, that we wanted to have this lesson learned culture. So in between, we create a bridge with the community of practice of what we call the lesson learned animators, one in each center. And this community is a bridge between this vision, starting by reusing before storing knowledge, and because we all think that it is a good idea, but the core team, they give to the community of practice of the lesson learned animators, they use the community to test if their message was credible. So before giving the information to all these project managers, they work with the community of practice and say, is it a good idea? Do you understand what I mean? We created some processes, some heroes, so we spend time with the community of practice to make sure that they understand, that they adopt this new way of thinking. And then this community of practice become the ambassador of the global message to all the project managers. And also this community has another role, is also to create some communication between the different project managers in the different centers. They are, for instance, when I told you, yes, the lesson learned animator has to make sure that the lesson learned is understandable. One way is to use the community of practice to do that. I am lesson learned animator, for example, in Mexico. I can present a lesson learned that has been written in my center to my colleagues all over the world. And if the other lesson learned animator understand what I mean, I think it's a good lesson learned. And then I can go back and say. So this community has several roles. It's really helped the deployment of the methodology, because they are really the ones in the field that are deploying the process, and also it is really the bridge between real life and what we thought. And we ask them to, if they disagree with the methodology, the process. We can talk, we can adjust the methodology, because what we want is that it is not just a good idea, we want it to be implemented. So this community of practice helps in that way.
Beatrice Le Moing of Schneider Electric, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.